I've been asked to talk about how to export glass from Substance Painter and how to create a template that's got opacity in it and bring it back into Blender. So here is the oil lamp or lantern that I created for one of my recent projects, and what I've done is I've given these things names. So I've got lamp glass, lamp reflector, and lamp body. So what you do is you take this and you export an FBX and you bring it into Substance Painter, and then you apply your materials. And you can see the materials here. And so this is the glass right there. So if I come over to the glass, all I've done is I've searched my smart materials for glass, and I may have downloaded some of these, and some of these may come standard. I used this glass dirty, brought it in, put a bit of dust, and I've got the glass. Now, of course, in order to see it transparent in Substance Painter, you would have needed to come over to the shader tab here and switch from just PBR metal to this one with alpha blending. So you would need that. You would also need to come into the texture set settings, and in the channels, normally there's no opacity here. So if I get rid of that, I would have to come here, plus add opacity, and you can control the opacity here on the base layer, and you'll see that opacity is turned on, and you can turn it up and down. Now, you want to export this, so you come over to File, Export Textures, and you go to Output Templates. I would suggest that you start with this PBR Metallic Roughness. If I click there, you'll see that I've got base color, roughness, metallic, normal, height, and emissive. And you may not have emissive in yours, but whatever. Now, we're going to add opacity in a moment. But one thing that I like to do is I like to delete from the and mesh and the underscore, that part there. Then I don't have some extra stuff. So I'm just getting rid of this. Next time I open this template, it will not have this stuff right here. I mean, you can name them whatever you want. You don't have to keep them this way, but I'm just going to do this for all of them. Okay. Now, there is no opacity here, so we're going to create an opacity channel. And what I like to do is copy this template. So I'm just going to click that. Now I have a copy down here. I can double click that and call this something like with opacity. Okay, so now here's my template, PBR Metallic Roughness with opacity, but I don't have opacity yet. So I'm going to click on here, create gray, and that's going to create that. And I can just call this opacity, or I can take this and I can copy all of this. That's usually what I would do, and just change this name to say opacity. And I'm going to search for opacity, and here I can see it in blue. I'm going to drag it over onto this box that says GR for gray, release, and then choose gray channel. And this is now ready to go to export the base color, roughness, metallic, normal, height, emissive if you've got it, and the opacity. So I come back to my settings. I'll change this to the one I just did, and I'm going to choose a location that I want this. Let's have a look when we press export. You can change some other stuff if you want, but I'm just going to leave it like that. And you'll notice that the names for my textures or my image maps are just lamp body, vid, base color, roughness, instead of some other stuff that's in front of there. And there is the opacity map. Okay, so that's done. So now we can come back to Blender, and I'll add these textures. I'll go to the shading tab. Okay, and there's my lamp body. I'm just going to select that and press Shift Control T. And in order to do that, you have to have the Node Wrangler enabled. And I will find that textures opacity. This is the body. So base color to there. And that should come on. This is the reflector. And I made these textures in another video, but that's not what we need to do. Here's the glass. The glass is a little bit different. So I do this, and I'm going to choose the glass base color to roughness. The opacity is in there, but don't worry about that. It won't load it. It'll do that. And now it's all shiny. Now I'm going to press Control Spacebar to maximize this. And I'm going to get rid of, I don't need displacement, and I don't need this displacement map. I'm not using that. I'm using all the others. But up here, I'm going to take this and Shift D to duplicate it, pull that over here, and I'm going to connect this because my glass piece is UV unwrapped. Now to get the glass to work, I'm going to pull this out, Shift A, shader, mix shader, I'm going to drop that in, Shift A, shader, transparent, because I want some transparency, connect that, and I'm going to connect this to the FAC there. And if we come back, it's not working perfectly yet. So with the material selected, I'm going to come over here, scroll down to the settings here, and change the blend mode to alpha blend. I often change the shadow mode to alpha hashed, and put a check mark here. And now we have this, and you can see through it ever so slightly. Next time you have some glass, make sure you choose that one, PBR metallic roughness with opacity, and it'll have all of these things. And if we just look at this, you'll see that we don't have that mesh name on there. Okay, so hopefully that helps, and good luck.